What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to tonight's late night agenda. How are we all? I know there was some bad news. There was a 97th person who was sadly passed away, a Hillsborough survivor, and I want to just briefly, obviously, send all our love and best wishes to the family and to everybody. It's not a great positive thing to start off the stream with, but I couldn't let the stream go without mentioning it. So Andrew Devine and his family and his loved ones, of course, our love and best wishes are with them at this very, very difficult moment. So look, ladies and gentlemen, let's just move on to, talk about whatever it is tonight that you guys want to talk about. We'll talk about Chiesa. We can, I've poo-pooed it already, but I'll re-poo-poo it for you guys. But I also want to just pitch something else out there, because tonight was the night I started my first couple of recordings for Craig Station. Delighted to say I recorded with Jack McDermott, aka Pieface. I've recorded with Al Foran, who you probably know from all the Conor McGregor impressions and stuff. So those two are in the bag, and they'll be coming out on Craig Station early next week. Make sure you get yourself over and subscribe to that, because they were great interviews, I have to say. Not from my point of view, it's easy for me. These guys are the real stars, and Pieface, what a legend. Al Foran, couldn't have been any more fun as well. I'm smiling. I'm having one of them great days today, folks. Kyle, nice to see you in as well over in America. Kyle, how are you doing, buddy? Good evening to all of you guys. Right, what do we want to start off with? I mean, let's go with Chiesa. Is that alright? We'll start off with Chiesa tonight, because there was a lot of chatter on Twitter last night. Now, I've been very vocal for the past 4 or 5 days about my belief on the links of Liverpool to Chiesa, and it was good to see that late last night, I think it was about 3 a.m. actually, that we did get confirmation of the fact that Liverpool aren't going to be in from Fabrizio Romano, who put out a tweet to say, look, it's not happening, Liverpool won't be going after him. And look, it's what we all knew, and it's why I keep saying to you, please don't believe all the stuff on Twitter. Please don't believe all the ITK stuff. People that just want you to click in so they can, build up their followers, subscribers, or whatever. It's just nonsense. Just think about it logically. Now, I know that there are people who want good news, and I'm one of them people, and I still stand over the fact I think we'll make a couple of signings, but Chiesa just never was one to me that I could see the club moving for. But look, where are we anyway? It's your birthday, said Alex. Happy birthday to you, mate. I hope that you're well. Just to say, we did sign him. We don't have much luck with Italians. Yeah, we don't. You're right, mate. I mean, there are some exceptions to the rules, of course, but I'm always more wary when we're linked. So, right, what else do we want to go with? Well, Pieface, great person to bring on for the FIFA players. Just, never mind the FIFA side of it, just a damn good lad and great fun to chat with. Right, let's talk about Saul, shall we? And I've reached out to Spain, to my contacts, to see if there's any more information that I can garner around. And I've got to be keeping an eye on my phone as the stream goes on, just to see if I do get any messages back, whatever, on it. It looks like, again, something could be happening with Saul over the next few days. Whether it be United, whether it be Liverpool, I genuinely still don't know, which is what I'm trying to find out. But I've said it last night, I'll repeat what I've said again. I think Liverpool are going to get 2 signings in before the window closed, but I won't lie and say who they are or when that'll happen, because I simply don't know. But I would like Saul at Liverpool. The more I think about it, the more it makes sense. I mean, if you're looking for a genuine Yalom-like replacements, yes, Bissouma's there and he could do a similar job, but Saul is 26, experienced, a reasonable price for somebody of his calibre. You're talking about roughly £40 million there. Somebody who Atleti are actively looking to move on, really, and his options are going to be rather limited. And I actually hope now at this point that Liverpool go and sign him, because I think that he could do numerous jobs in Liverpool's midfield and give us a lot of steel, a lot of nous, and a lot of the positive stuff that we hope to see by the end of this window. Sorry, I'm literally reading WhatsApps here as I'm going, because news is coming through. So more stuff on Neuhaus as well. Again, I've long told you guys that my belief on Neuhaus was that he will spend another season at Borussia Mönchengladbach and will go to Bayern Munich, and it seems that there are some stories now coming out to say that he will spend another year at Borussia Mönchengladbach. Now, You know, I'm on a bit of a roll this summer, ladies and gentlemen, to be honest. I mean, most of the stuff I've been told or I've been reading or trying to tell you guys has come to fruition. So I'm saying to you, chill on worrying about the transfers. I genuinely believe we'll get them done. Liz, how are you? Said, I think the club may need a bowling coach as well as a throwing coach. I seen that video, Liz, and yeah, you could be right. Again, there's the new sign up there on the screen to say Liz sent in a super chat. Giddy says Goldbridge has said Man United aren't in for Saul no more. Good, which makes Liverpool's potential job all that much easier, doesn't it? Because the options seem to be running down. Now, how do we feel about Saul as a group on here, by the way? Would you guys be happy if Liverpool were to replace Gini Wijnaldum, excuse me, with Saul? Because I would be very happy for the reasons I keep saying: his injury record, his experience, his age bracket, the club that he's coming from and the manager that he's worked with, coming off the back of winning a league title as well. I'd be over the moon with it, I have to say. And 35 to 40 million quid I think is fair, considering, you know, he has a buyout clause of 150 million euro in his contract at Atleti. Jack Barker said I would love Saul. RSH said would love him. Addison, yes. Rob says it's a yes from him as well. Whitland, yes. Bobby, yes. It's a yes, good. I'm liking it. I'm good. I'm glad we're all on the same wavelength here, folks. It's always good to see that we're thinking in similar ways. Saul is perfect. Top player, has more to his attacking play, says Mossy Hyo. Shanzo said at this stage I just want somebody, anybody. Again, I'm gonna I know people don't watch every stream or every minute of every stream, so I'm just gonna reiterate? What the fuck is that? Reiterate where I am at this moment in time. And again, this is just little old me, my opinion. I think that we will see a masterstroke pulled by Michael Edwards. I think that we are working on outgoings, and we're, you know, talking about the likes of moving Shaqiri, Origi on. We've already got another load out the door. You've heard me say all this, but where I think the real genius will come in is as the window goes on and as we free up more overseas squad places and just more places in our squad and more wages, we will see Michael Edwards come into his own. Because I don't think it's an accident that Liverpool are sitting back and seeing how this window develops. So we know that there were clubs around Europe, from Schalke to Barcelona to clubs in Italy, that have been really, really badly affected by the pandemic. And what does that mean? Well, that means these clubs are going to need money. They're going to need the cash infusion, and the more the window goes on and the less that the players that maybe they banked on there being interest in have less and less interest, then they become more desperate to sell, and desperation is where Michael Edwards comes in. So I get a feeling that we will see a couple of rabbits pulled out of the hat by Michael Edwards before this transfer window is open. Now, it's important to remember the window closes at the end of August. It's not before the season starts. So yes, ideally we'd want the players to come in before we kick a ball on the 13th or 14th of August. I can't remember which date it is, but the window is open till 11 p.m. on the last day of August. So still got plenty of time, folks. That's what I'm saying. Joe said I'd love Ronaldo Sanchez. My own guesswork on Ronaldo, mate, and it is just that, is that I think he's hanging off to see how Barca are fixed, because my gut tells me that he'd like to go to Barcelona, who have been linked with him, but we all know their situation, and he could be waiting towards the end of the window for his own purposes to see if that moves on, or if somebody else can come in for him, like Liverpool or another club. Have we seen the PS3 Englishman Duke? I have no idea who he is, Quinch, though. Mbappe or Haaland, who's a better signing? That's not a question anybody can answer in a one-word answer, mate. I mean, depends what your team needs, what your club needs, and you'd be very lucky to have either of them. But, you know, does your club need an attacker? Does your club need a pacey wide player? You know, what's your squad missing? Darmesh, I don't know where this has come from, but he said Liverpool are working hard to ensure they look as blah blah blah. I don't know, somebody deleted it so I can't read it. Hey Craig, I'm a Newcastle fan. What do I think of Alan Saint-Maximin? I love him. I love him as a personality. I love him as a footballer. And you've got yourselves a fine player on your hands there, mate. I won't lie to you. He seems like a top lad and a very, very good talent. Saul has a 9-year contract and it isn't up till 2026. Yes, but they want to sell him. That's the part of all of this that you're missing, Jamie. So he also has a 150 million euro buyout clause, mate, that I spoke about. But after Atleti went out and signed Rodrigo de Paul, it's well known that they're willing to sell Saul. It's been known since before the end of the season. So Barca originally tried to do a Griezmann swap there, or some type of a trade to get Saul in there. That hasn't happened because obviously Barcelona haven't got a pot to piss in at the minute. Manchester United were a club that were long linked with Saul, but looks like their priorities lie elsewhere at the minute, and it looks like he fancies a move to the Premier League. So as I said, £40 million probably buys you Saul, or maybe 36, 37 million with a few add-ons. And I think I don't, it makes sense for us. It really does. And it's one of those that I've always thought, I hope it's true, because it would work, and it would be replacing a 29, 30-year-old Gini Wijnaldum with a 26-year-old Saul. I mean, I'd have no problems with it. Berardi to LFC, nope, not going to happen, mate. Again, there was a load of links to Italian players after the Euros for obvious reasons, but my question is, we never heard sniff of half of these lads being linked to Liverpool before the Euros, and Liverpool aren't a club that make reactionary signings these days. Our transfer business is players we've been looking at for 5, 6, 7 years, so I've never believed that we'd be in for Berardi. Do I think Doku will leave Ron? No. Actually, this we spoke about late last night. I did a transfer wrap-up video, and just as we were ending last night, some stuff started coming out around Jeremy Doku. So this is what looks like is the case with Doku. You're not going to like what I have to say, but hear me out. So it looks like Ron want to keep Jeremy Doku for one more year, and then the wording that's coming out is that Doku loves Liverpool, loves the idea of coming to Liverpool, but one more season in his development is probably what's needed from maybe his perspective, and certainly from the French club's perspective. So again, we might be looking at a 2022 transfer there, but you know what, I'm alright with it. I'm alright with it, because hearing the vibes that he loves the idea of joining Liverpool. And let's not forget, next year we're going to be in a position where hopefully we've renewed Salah's contract, hopefully Mane's contract or whatever, but we will be at a position where the front three that we normally speak about, Salah, Mane, Firmino, they'll all be 30. So you're probably going to see a situation where one of them gets moved on to refresh the age of the squad and bring in somebody like Jeremy Doku, or somebody in midfield like Jude Bellingham, or somebody who can make the age of the group a little bit younger. And I think this is the evolution of Jurgen Klopp's second team at Liverpool, and there'll be some decisions like the Genie one that frustrate us as fans, the Henderson situation, which obviously really annoys us, but the big picture here is that we have to start looking to Jurgen Klopp's second team. We have to start looking to the evolution of this group of players that have won us what they've won us, to continue success moving forward. And to do that, I suppose there are going to be some really difficult decisions, aren't there? And one of the things that we always gave Alex Ferguson credit for was knowing when was the right time to cash in at United and sell their players. And I'd like to think that we as a club would have learned from that Kloppo would have that ruthless streak in him as well. Like, we certainly know the owners have that ruthless streak in them. Somebody saying the same old story next summer. See, I'm not saying that, Robbie. I'm telling you, I think we'll make 2 signings this summer, mate. But I'm telling you that some players just aren't realistic this summer. Jude Bellingham, there's no way Dortmund are selling him this summer. Let's look at Neto, and I did talk to Dave Azzopardi from Talking Wolves about Pedro Neto and Adama Traore earlier. That video will be out tomorrow. He's injured now, might be back till October time, so how could you sign him in the summer? You couldn't. So if these are Liverpool's targets, and these are the players that the club want, and they're not available to next summer, then that might be the case, mate. I mean, I'm not trying to be an apologist for anybody here. I'm just trying to tell you what's factual and what isn't. What do you reckon Harvey's position will be this season, midfielder or winger? From what I've read, the plan is in that creative hole in behind. So, look, we know him as a winger, I suppose. We think of him as a winger, Harvey Elliott, but it looks like his position could be just in the pocket behind, having that bit of freedom, that bit of creativity. And I love the fact that Klopp likes to try people out in different positions and see how it works and see how different systems work. But I love the link up that I've seen so far between Harvey Elliott and Mo Salah on that right hand side. So yeah, I'm just excited about seeing Harvey, to be honest with you. I think we won't get Adama, said Addison. I'll be quite frank, mate. I don't want Adama Traore to sign for Liverpool because the shoulder injury massively concerns me. His statistics for last season were shocking, and I've always had a question about his end product. I've always wondered, is it a coaching thing? Is it something with him? You know, nobody can deny he has the pace, he has the power, he's got attributes that are positive, but I just think we can do better. If I'm being really, really honest, I think we can do better than Adama Traore. And the shoulder injury very much concerns me. Is there any chance of Saul coming? Well, is there a chance of Saul coming? Yes. Would I give you a percentage chance on it? I'd be lying. I don't know how near or far that might be. But definitely, yes, there's definitely a chance. More of a chance than like me saying Haaland as an example. Like, it's a realistic possibility. Sabi said, I think Adama could be a beast under Klopp. And look, I think that is where a lot of us would say that's the hope, isn't it? Like, that would be, to me, that was the only thing making me think that it could possibly work was under Klopp. But the fact that he's had 5 or 6 shoulder dislocations in 2 years doesn't bode well, and I don't want us to sign another player that may have injury concerns. So that's mainly the reason for me. That and my worry about his end product. I'm sure Kloppo and Pep Linders will improve him or could improve him, but it's just been someone I just never really thought was was close enough to the finished product for us. That's just my opinion on Adama. Bro, I don't know why we would sign Sarr, who's going to the AFCON. Again, this isn't me saying we're signing Sarr. I don't think we are going to sign Ismaila Sarr, but we have been linked with him yet again, and for the very reason you've said there, Wade, you're right. If we're going to bring in players to fill in for Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah, Naby Keita, who will be going to the AFCON, it would be a bit foolish to bring in somebody who would also be going to the AFCON. Now, you can counter that by saying you would never really want to sign somebody just for cover for a month for lads going to tournaments, because you're signing them for 4 or 5 years. But if you add into that the fact that we've already looked into signing Sarr, when we brought Diogo Jota in, we were met with a transfer fee that was too high in our valuation, and one where they wanted a lot of the money up front. I don't see how any of that will have changed between then and now, and I know certainly from our position and the way that we like to structure deals, we aren't going to be going in there and paying 50 million quid all in one go for Ismaila Sarr, which is what the Potsy family who own Watford roughly wanted last time. Again, I think it was Melissa Reddy did a good piece on it previously. Jota needs more starts this season. Well, look, let's be fair. He did quite well when he came in. He did very well actually, and was a little bit unlucky to get the injury when he did. And I think we will see a lot more from Diogo Jota this year, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing his progression, his continued progression, because he's an absolute beast when it comes to the work ethic and stuff like that. And yeah, it's good. I'm really looking forward to the new season. Again, for the 500 people who are coming in, if you want me to lie to you and tell you we're going to sign Saul, you're on the wrong fucking channel, because I don't come on here to lie to people. So I know you all want Saul news, and I know you're all on Twitter, and the fact at this moment in time, as things stand, I don't know of any new developments on Saul. I've reached out to my friends in Spain and I'm waiting to hear back from them, but it makes sense. It's very realistic that we could sign him, but I'm not going to lie to you and, for subscribers and say, yeah, we're going to sign Saul, it's getting really close, drag it out for a week or so and hope that I'm right. I don't do that. I've never done that, and I won't do that. Gino Moran, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, very newest member to the family. Thank you for becoming a member. If you want to become an official member of the channel, there is a link pinned to the top of the live chat right now. Like most other channels, it's $4.99 a month. You get all the emojis that we use on Anfield Agenda. You get into our Discord group, which is member only. Your name appears in green to me and other members, and you also get the Anfield Agenda logo beside your name. And Connor sent me a new studio that I completely forgot to use for tonight because I was running around so late that I forgot to change it, and whoops, sorry sorry about that, Connor, because he did take time to design the new studio, which I'll use tomorrow instead. We do have a watch along of the game tomorrow, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. The Reds taking on Hertha Berlin. Very oddly, a 7:20 kick-off, but I'll be live from about 6:45 p.m. tomorrow, so make sure you come along and join us for that one as well. What happened to Coman? So the Kingsley Coman stuff was very weird the way it happened, because France went out of the Euros. Kingsley Coman all of a sudden was being linked with a move to the Premier League at first, then to Liverpool. There were two different sides to the story. There was the Bayern Munich side to it that suggested that they didn't want to sell him, but if he had to try and go, the number was 90 million. Then there was the side that seemed to be his father, from what I read, trying to drive interest in the player and get him a move to the Premier League, and the valuation that side was about 50 million quid. But what I've never believed is that we were going to do that transfer one way or the other for price reasoning, and also, again, he's had a bit of injury concern. When you're as explosive as he is, when you rely on pace as much as he does, it's not unusual that you've got some injury concerns. So I didn't see it as a realistic option. To me, if you're asking me to nail my flag to the mast right now, I still think Sanchez and Saul probably the most likely central midfielders that I've seen us linked with. Sorry, I think I've got a hair or something on my ear. And then for the wide position, look, none of us believe that Jared Bowen is a sexy signing, so to speak, do we? I mean, he's English, he's Premier League proven, and I honestly don't know how I'd feel about that one. It could end up being a masterstroke, but for me, I've always liked the idea of Pedro Neto, of Harvey Barnes, of Jeremy Doku, and I think if we free up a squad place, an overseas squad place, I think we'll look to Europe to do our business with regards to a wide player. But I don't know as of yet who that might be. I don't believe the Chiesa stuff. I've always told you I don't believe for 1 second Liverpool are going to offer £86 million or whatever it was for Chiesa. It would, absolutely blow our transfer record out of the window at a time where we're hearing that we haven't got much money. And also, we'd seen Fabrizio Romano put that one to bed late last night as well. What about the Isco rumours? Bullshit! I mean, what do you want me to say to you? Real Madrid have been pretty much trying to get rid of Isco for as long as I can remember by the looks of it. I mean, name me a transfer window in the past 3 years where Isco hasn't been linked with a move somewhere. And again, Real Madrid and Barcelona are feeling the weight of financial burden right now, and there is zero chance of us signing Isco. Zero. None. Zippity do that. So yeah, I mean, again, don't know what to say to you, but it's just somebody trying to get you to click on their website, or somebody lying to you, because we ain't signing Isco. Nor do I think we should be signing Isco. Will I be on Goldbridge's channel? No. I'll allow him on That's Football, which I will take over, because I am, the alpha male. So it will never be Goldbridge's channel. I'll never allow the words "it's Goldbridge's channel" to be uttered, because it's a team effort. So will I be on That's Football? Absolutely. I'll be on there for the season ahead, but we shall not be referring to it as Goldbridge's channel. We shall be referring to it as That's Football. Do I think Varane is better than Maguire? I really don't give a shite, mate. They're both United players, and I couldn't give a fuck which one of them was better than the other. And I don't mean that to be rude to you, buddy. I'm just being honest with you. I couldn't give a shite if they both crash and burn on a shite at Manchester United. In fact, I do, because that would make me smile. But all I'm concerned about is Joe Gomez, Joel Matip, Ibrahim Konate and Virgil van Dijk when it comes to centre-backs. Manchester United's centre-back joys or woes isn't really of my concern as a Liverpool fan. With all due respect and lots of love and all that stuff, I don't care what United do or don't do, because I'm a Red, and I'm a Red from a Liverpool perspective. What happened to the Raphinha links? It came out that there was no actual links from Liverpool to Raphinha, and I'd said this to you guys as well, that like, even when you listen to Raphinha talking, all the talk was of Raphinha saying he's going to do another year at Leeds. So it was great, and I would have taken him. I like Raphinha as a footballer, but apparently, if my memory's correct, it's been brought up recently that we never actually went looking at Raphinha, or never actually made any overtures towards Raphinha. Don't forget Naldini. Well, the reason I didn't mention him is because he's going to go, mate. So the reason I haven't mentioned Nat Phillips is because he will leave Liverpool and end up at either Brighton, there was a Brighton, Burnley and a few other clubs that have been linked with him. Philip Hunt, how are you? Said, hi Craig, when do you do your predictions for the season? Also, are you worried about how our rivals are signing players? Also Champions League or Premier League? Loads of questions there. Let's break them down and go one at a time. When will I do my predictions for the season? Probably a week before the season starts. Yeah, so probably about 10 days on that one. Am I worried about our rival signings? Yes. I'll talk about that more in 1 second. And Premier League or Champions League, I've always said the same, mate. Champions League for me. I know everybody wants us to go level with Manchester United. I get that. I appreciate that. But I'm somebody that has a love affair with the European Cup, and for me it's always Champions League every time. Champions League over anything else. So but let's go back around to, am I worried about other clubs signing players? So I know I just said to our Manchester United sporting friend there a second ago that I didn't give a shit about Varane and Maguire, which was better, but I do care that United brought in Varane, because that does make a difference. Then bringing in Sancho does make a difference. Chelsea looking to bring in Jules Koundé does make a difference, as will Manchester City adding, you know, Kane and or Grealish to their squad. So yes is the answer. I'm absolutely worried about what our rivals are doing, and they have upped their game in this transfer window, no doubt about it, and we still have time to go. But you know, I look at it in two ways. One, I'm willing to wait till the window ends, because although I could be on here ranting and raving saying why aren't we doing business, you know, why aren't we getting, I think there's a reason why we're not doing business yet, and I hope that my reading of the situation is right, and that we get the signings, you know, closer to the end of the window and we look back at them as absolute bargains and master strokes. But if we end the window and we haven't brought them in, one, I'll be as angry as the next person, but also it's important to remember that continuity is okay as well. So we get the boys that have been together. We've added in some, you know, young blood there with Harvey, Elliott. We have Taki back. Van Dijk will be back. So even if, and we've added in Ibrahim Kanate, even if we don't do any more business, worst case scenario, I still think we'll be challenging this year. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't or couldn't do business. We should be looking to improve. We should always be looking to improve. And like you guys, I'm somebody that loves to hear that the club have got a new commercial partner. I love to hear that we've increased commercial revenue and sold more shirts and all of this lovely stuff. But I also want that to be backed up by the manager being backed in the transfer market, because it's all well and good about hearing how great we're doing commercially, but if that doesn't translate to the manager having more funds to bring in new players, then what's the point? What's the point for all of us? What's the point for us as fans? What's the point of everything that we're doing? So I'm with you all in the frustration. I'm also a big believer in, we're very lucky to have the manager that we have right now, and I hope that our owners aren't taking Jurgen Klopp and his brilliance for granted, because, you know, there will come a time where we don't have Jurgen Klopp and they won't get away with the type of transfer spend that they have under somebody who isn't as proficient or as amazing as Jurgen Klopp. So if anything, I'd say make hay while the sun shines and back this manager right now, and back him as much as you can to the hilt, because he will deliver. We know he'll deliver. So I'm optimistic, and yet I'm shitting myself at the same time. Do I think Harry Kane and Jack Grealish could make City have the league wrapped up? Interestingly, Leighton, I think the signing of Harry Kane to me makes no sense other than one thing, and that is Manchester City's absolute fascination with winning the Champions League. Because nobody can tell me that as a club, you're sitting down with your director of football, you've got 100 or 150 million pounds to spend on a striker, and Haaland isn't your first choice. Nobody can tell me that that makes any sense in the long term, because Harry Kane is what, 27, something like that, in his prime right now, but he would be bought for one reason, in my opinion, and that is to try and get Manchester City the Champions League, because they could go win the Premier League anyway. You know, bringing in Grealish will help with that, no doubt about it, but I am honestly baffled that they could be looking for a striker, are willing to spend that much money, and Haaland is not the number one name on their list. It can only be for one reason. because Guardiola's time is coming to an end probably, and he wants to win that Champions League before he leaves, because otherwise they all know that the whole period of time, no matter how many Premier Leagues they've won, how many League Cups they've won or FA Cups they've won, he will be judged on one thing and one thing only, and that is the fact that he did not deliver a Champions League to Manchester City, and that's what they want. And I, like every other self-respecting football fan in the world, want them to fail absolutely miserably in their quest for a Champions League, just to prove that there is some soul left in football, that PSG and that Manchester City can do everything that they want, but they still can't get shiny big ears, that beautiful big magnificent bastard that they want so much. Sorry, bit of a rant there, I know, but I'm not their biggest fan. Elliott or Jones, it's a ridiculous question. You're talking about two completely different players there in two completely different positions with two completely different parts, and here's a good part though, mate, they're both Liverpool players, so we don't have to pick, we get to have them both, which is the good part. That's the fun part, what I was saying. Love the jersey, mate, said Ash. Thank you. It's an old LAFC shirt. Aren't we getting Chiesa? Nope. Like I told you 3-4 days ago, no Chiesa. Nonsense, bullshit rumours, which was put to bed by Fabrizio. But you know, don't mind me, little old me will tell you a week in advance, but it's only gospel when Fabrizio Romano says it. So you know, someday people will go, Craig, you said that a week ago, or Craig, you told us Daniel Malo would end up at Borussia Dortmund. Someday I'll get some credit, maybe a little bit, you know, maybe I underplay the stuff that I get told and don't get told, but yeah, I just don't like to play the whole ITK, look at me, I know transfer stuff, because I'm just a fucking football fan like everybody else. What do I think about Harvey Elliott? He's brilliant. I'm so glad we signed him. I love how attached to Liverpool he is, and I really do think that this kid has the potential to be a superstar. I'm gonna go bold here, and I know I can already hear people getting ready to clip this up. I'm going to go really bold here, and I'm going to say in 3 years time we will look back at Jadon Sancho signing for Manchester United and Harvey Elliott at Liverpool, and I, just my opinion, believe that Harvey Elliott will look like by far the better piece of business, and I'm going to hang my hat on that. I really am. I'm very confident that Sancho's a great player and will do good at United, but when you look at what Harvey Elliott cost Liverpool, I think we'll look back on this in 3 years time and go, wow, that was genius. Just my take. Lauren Ball said, deluded. You see, this is why fuckers like you make me laugh. You can put your one word bullshit answer in, but back it up, motherfucker, or shut the fuck up. Simple as that. Deluded. Why? Because I don't agree with your fucking half-arsed view I'm deluded? I guarantee you I've forgotten more about football than you'll ever know about football. So don't challenge my ball knowledge, because I fucking promise you I know the game. But I've also caveated what I said by, it's my opinion. If it hurts you and you're feeling a little bit hurt about it, maybe this ain't the channel for you. If you want somebody to blow smoke up your arse and tell you that Jadon Sancho is the messiah, then you're on the wrong fucking channel. I respect him as a footballer, but not as much as I love the idea of Harvey Elliott doing bits for Liverpool. Oh, God almighty. Deluded. Deluded is the argument of a fucking moron that has no argument. And I love an argument, as you can probably tell. I love it. Love a bit of back and forth. Love the United fans to come and interact with us. But deluded? Why? Why am I deluded? Because you don't agree with me, Lauren? Because I hurt your feelings? Is that why I'm deluded? Or because, heaven forbid, everybody didn't bow down at the altar of Sanchez and go, oh, isn't he just the most amazing signing ever? Oh, Manchester United have signed Jadon Sancho. I said Sanchez there. They've signed Jadon Sancho. Oh, they've signed Raphinha Varane. Just not point even showing up to give them the league title. I'm not like that. That's not how I work. God, I'm having fun tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And I said Sanchez there and it ruined my own goddamn rant. I ruined my own rant, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm very annoyed about that. Harvey will leave his heart and soul on the pitch this season, absolutely. Be honest, how now, if Jones would be a Madrid player and play just as good as he has for us now, would you say signing him for 50 million would be a triple chew? Are we talking? Are we talking about Air Jones here? Yeah. We're not talking about Manchester United's Jones here. Yes, we're talking about Curtis. So, if he was a Real Madrid player, I don't know, because I don't think he's played enough football for us to have judged them at Real Madrid or elsewhere. So, I know I've seen bits of Curtis Jones coming through at underage level and seeing the leadership in him and seeing the drive in him and knowing that he wants to continue to push himself and his development on. So, I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know, because I don't know if I'd have known as much about him as if he was at Real Madrid as I do because he came through at Liverpool. Still top ranting, Craig. Don't be upset. Yeah, sorry. I ruined it though with the Sanchez. I mean, it was there. It could have been a 9 out of 10 rant, and it ends up at a solid 6. I mean, I'm disappointed, ladies and gentlemen. Underage question mark. Again, can I have a whole fucking sentence to work with there, mate, so I know what you're asking me? Or yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, I need whole sentences as questions. What about Hendo? Oh, see, on Jordan Henderson, I understand the 2-year side of it, that he'll be 33. I get that. I understand that the club might be a little bit reluctant to give an extension to somebody who already has a contract that ties them down till they're 33. So let's say you give Hendo another year and he's 34. I do get that point. I get that side of it. But I would have liked, maybe naively, to have assumed that there was a way that you can make Jordan Henderson feel loved, make him understand that he's a part of Klopp's plans for the next few years, make him feel valued as the club's captain, and not get to a point where it's coming into the media. So it's a difficult one, that on Hendo, because would I think it's the right decision to give him a 4-year deal? No. If I'm being honest, I don't think it's the right decision to keep Jordan Henderson at least 35 years of age, from what we've seen in the last year or so and the little injuries he's starting to pick up. I do think it's prudent that the club maybe take their time, but what I would like to see happen is maybe give him a pay rise or an option. We'll renew it, or we'll have a look at it when your contract's up, or we'll renew this again in a year's time, Jordan. We're just trying to be really cautious right now. I'd just like the club to find some way to keep him happy, because he deserves to be kept happy. But then again, football is ruthless, and I get the part about not wanting to extend past a lad that's going to be 33 anyway when his contract is up. So it's a difficult one, that, because you're caught right up in your own emotion then and the ruthlessness of the business. Would you agree Henderson is the best captain in England? I mean, look, it's not for me to say what other clubs' captains do and don't do. Now let me give you an example. Kasper Schmeichel is a leader of men. Kasper Schmeichel is a leader, whether he has an armband on him or not. What he has done at Leicester after the tragedy, what he did with Denmark, he's a leader. He's a leader of people, and he stands up. And Jordan Henderson does that, and he does it really, really well. So I can't say if he's the best captain in the Premier League, but what I can say to you is I wouldn't swap him for another captain in the Premier League, because I love that Jordan Henderson is the captain of Liverpool Football Club. I love the values that Jordan Henderson has about him as a human being. I love his leadership. I love that he has a little snidey streak. I love everything about Hendo. So I won't go as far as to say he's the best captain in the Premier League, because that's not for me to say, but I wouldn't swap him. I love Hendo, and I love that he's the captain. And let's not forget who he took over from. Taking that armband off Steven Gerrard is not a task that many people would have been able to stand up and actually do. And Henderson has excelled, has won a Premier League title, is a European Cup winning captain, a Club World Cup winning captain, and nobody can ever take that away from Henderson. And he will go down as a great amongst Liverpool captains, a great amongst a bunch of greats, because we've been blessed to have so many of them over the years. Should I start worrying about next season? I don't think so. I mean, I'm really calm going into the new season. Seeing Van Dijk get back to fitness, hopefully we get to see him have a few minutes tomorrow. I've been really impressed with Harvey Elliott. Cade Gordon has impressed me in the few bits I've seen of him. I'm positive going into the new season. I want a couple of signings because, I think we should be doing it to try and push on and back the manager. But all in all, I'm actually quite calm going into the new season, and I'm really looking forward to it. Do I think Mane and Firmino will get back onto top form? I have my worries about Firmino, if I'm being really honest, who is my favourite player at Liverpool. But Sadio Mane, I think, had a bad season. Like, by his own high standards. He said this himself. But Firmino, I'm a bit more worried about, to be honest. I hope I'm wrong, but I think we might have seen the best of Roberto Firmino. Yeah, he looks to me, of the three, the one who looks more leggy, the one who maybe looks like he can't do what he used to do. And I hope I'm wrong, but, you know, hand on heart, of the three of them, I think he's the one I'd be most worried about from the old guard front three. What have we got? Mark said, people saying Trent future captain. Honestly, if Hendo retires from the game, I think he'll be on the coaching staff. For me, if we were to pick a new Liverpool captain right now, I actually wouldn't give it to Trent. For me, it would be either Van Dijk or Robertson. They would be the two that I'd give the armband to. I don't know if Trent's a leader. Yes, he's still very, very young. Robbo I can see as a leader. Van Dijk I can see as a leader. I don't know if I can see Trent yet as a leader, and I wouldn't give him the armband just because he's Scouse. But that's just my take on it. And maybe in 3 years' time we'll look at Trent differently and we'll see that he's become more of a leader, more vocal. I mean, his playing abilities is, you know, unquestionable. But for me right now, Van Dijk or Robertson, if we were to hand over the armband. Salah, no, I don't like a forward being a captain. I like my captains to be either at the centre of the park or at the back of the park, and, you know, being able to survey everything and bark orders. I'm old school like that. You should make a raiding Premier League home kits video. That's what Togden and Togdad did, though. So, you know, if I did it, everybody would just go, "You just copying Togden and Togdad." So, yeah, probably no point for the abuse I'd end up getting. Opinions on the new away kit. It's a weird one. I think it's alright, but I wouldn't buy it because my chunky ass just wouldn't be able to pull it off. But for you youngsters out there, and for you, you know, slim people, I'd say, yeah, it's a nice kit. But for me, nah, I wouldn't get away with it. Am I looking forward to watching Divock tomorrow? No, I never look forward to watching Divock anymore, mate. I just get frustrated watching Divock these days, unfortunately. You get to keep one, sell one, and bench one. Jones, Bellingham, or okay, I will sell OR, keep Bellingham, bench Jones in your mad little game of hypotheticals there. Robbo's the man for captain, said Tom Boland. Do you think Chiesa will join Liverpool? No. I mean, I've said no. Romano said no. I mean, just think about it, like, from a logistical point of view, or logically I should say, excuse me. Do you think we're going to drop £86 million, €100 million right now on somebody who had a good Euros, whose name was never mentioned with us before the Euros? It just doesn't make any sense, does it? Man United or Liverpool are going to win the league. I think of the two, we're more likely, if I'm being really honest with you. But I really don't know where I sit on the Premier League this year, because you can make a valid argument for City, Liverpool, Chelsea and United. I think you can actually make a really decent argument for, and which makes me really, it's one of the reasons I'm so excited going into this. Was for a few years previously it had been Liverpool and Manchester City going toe to toe, and obviously last season United were the closest ones to City but weren't really that close. This year I think it's going to be mad. I think we're going to have maybe 4 genuine contenders for the Premier League title for the first time in ages, and I think we're in for one hell of a season. Again, loads of people asking me about Saul news. The news is, as it's always been, that we're just waiting to see what happens. You know, someone would just said to me that the Goldbridge believes United are out of that race. Well, then there's not many people left in the race. If somebody's going to bring up to England, you would presume it will be Liverpool, but I don't want to tell you any lies until I get something concrete. And I'm still looking at my phone here to see if I get a WhatsApp message. I'll only ever be honest and say I would take him in a heartbeat. I can see why we're interested. I believe there's probably some truth to it, but I don't want to say that I know when or if it might happen, because I don't. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go off and have a shower, perhaps, because I'm absolutely knackered. Busy day for me today. I spoke with Dave as a party from Talking Wolves about Pedro Neto and Adama Traore and asked him how Kiana Hoover is doing. That video was going to be coming out tomorrow afternoon, so keep an eye out for that one. Most importantly though, I recorded 2 brilliant interviews for my brand new channel, Craig Station. I recorded with Jack McDermott, aka Pieface, and I recorded with Al Foran, who is, if you don't know who his name is, you will know he is the guy who does all the McGregor impressions, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Joe Rogan, so many more. Really talented Irish guy. Those are going to be coming out next week. Get yourselves over the Craig Station and subscribe to it. There's a link in the description of the stream. I'll be back tomorrow with a watch along of our game against Hertha Berlin, and yeah, lots of other stuff as well. This week's Anfield Agenda 1 Football News Show will be coming out on Friday, because that's my day off. So look, hit the subscribe button, drop a like on the video, give yourselves a big pat on the back and a hug. Lots of love from me to you, you crazy motherfuckers. Love you guys so much. Take care.